Hello, welcome to another one of our videos, and today I'm going to be looking at exercise using the resistance band to encourage several things really, but ultimately the ultimate alignment of the lower limb. So everything working through the foot, the knee and the hip to be aligned so that there's minimal dysfunction. Probably these exercises are most beneficial for the knee. This first one is a very simple one, so it's basically just the bridge exercise. Just for the sake of the video, I haven't actually got it exactly aligned as I would, because I'm trying to, so just for the sake of the video, just so you can see better, I've put it here. But basically what I need to do on this is with the band, where I'm coming up, I've got it placed around my right leg here. Actually, I might make that red for you so you can see it better. But so basically what I want it to do is I want it to sort of wrap around my right leg and pulling it inward. Because when I'm pulling it inward and it's above the knee, so it's important that it's above the knee, not below the knee, it's basically trying to pull my limb into poor alignment, which is what we'd see when we're standing up, and you'll see in a minute what I mean by that. So front on you can sort of see that, side on you can sort of see that I was doing the bridge. From front on you'll get a better idea of what the band is actually trying to say. But basically the band is trying to make me do it wrong. So the resistance is trying to pull my femur, which is my thigh bone, into poor alignment, which would be like internally rotated, where my glutes, which are down there somewhere, should be externally rotating to prevent that. So can you see how the exercise that's trying to make me do it wrong is forcing me to do what I'm meant to do in the first place? Now you can also see here I should have had the band maybe a little bit more there, sort of pulling directly sideways, but it doesn't really matter too much, as long as in this case it's a very, very simple exercise. So it's probably not enough. Well, it's definitely not enough to change everything, but it sort of gets you ready for the next stage. So the next stage, I could move into a squat position, like two-leg squat, but I find that it's more the split stance and the single leg stance in particular that really makes a bigger difference. The two-leg stuff is just too much stability that makes it simple. So again, you can sort of see here the band is a little bit fuzzy on this video today, but sorry about that. So the band is trying to pull my knee in again. All right, so can you see how it's trying to pull that across right into that area there? So basically it would force my leg into this sort of horrible position, which is the point of no return for the knee, and that's where you'll see cruciate ligaments torn, but very much the patella not tracking right through the groove. It should be sort of running right through there. If it doesn't run through that groove and it's missing it and running down here, that's when you get all the patellofemoral problems. So these exercises are great for improving that and correcting it, because they eliminate that from that poor alignment from taking over. All right. So once I've sort of done the hip extension, I've done the lunge. I'm just going to fast forward here. This is where I'll bring into play the single leg stance. Now, the squat is the harder version, so I always prefer to start with a deadlift first. A lot more problems here, because now for the first time we really see the foot become a factor. And you'll see in a minute where I'm going to explain why that's a problem. So now we've got, and I'm doing actually a good job on this first one, but now I've got that nice alignment where this band is really pulling in. Now I've got to there's a couple of compensations that can happen here. Very importantly, I've got to keep this toe point, big toe, actually pronating down, because what we will often see is the foot will try to lift off the ground to create that alignment. So instead of this tibia going there, which is really being often driven from the hips being weaker and disabled, to correct this problem, the foot does it, and the foot brings it back into alignment. So you get the illusion of it looking good, but in this position if you do that, you're a very good chance you're not going to be able to balance, because you're really just standing on the outside of your foot. So that's when you'll see that person who adopts that strategy will actually fall over out to there, because they're really just standing on the edge of their foot. And they get very frustrated because they should have kept their foot fully flat on the floor and be driving the correction of that leg's alignment through the glutes, through the femur being pulled instead of being there, and it needs to be there, being driven by this. And the VMO on the inside, so the VMO, which I haven't spoken about, that will only work when this guy pulls out and that toe stays down. So I need tibial internal rotation with femoral external rotation. And in between that gives me the perfect alignment that prevents the dreaded injury from occurring. All right, so that was front on view. So side on view, just so you get an idea of my hip position, because I'm really loading the hip up here more than the knee. And I'll explain to you why. Usually if I've got a lot of pain, I don't want to go loading the knee up, because all I'm going to do is create more inflammation. It's much better to start with loading of the hip prior to building the strength through the knee itself. You're definitely building strength in the knee, but minimal amount of quadriceps. You can see how my shin stays pretty vertical here, and all of the work's being done through my hip here. So there's a huge amount of work being driven through the glutes to correct the alignment, but I'm only part done because I do need to do squats and stuff to build through the quadricep that would have no doubt atrophied through inflammation and pain. The VMO itself would have really, just a teaspoon of fluid on there is enough to shut it down completely. Oops. All right, so in summary, like the best exercises out of these three was this one. All right, so I'm going to have another video in a second that brings a couple of different exercises that follow on from this one. All right, so make sure you check out the second video in this series, where I'm going to look at a bit more of the foot, and also how we build into the quadricep using the same band theory behind it. All right, so I hope you enjoy that video, and we'll see you on the next one.